Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted, hanging out with a couple of colleagues today.
Nathan Nerdarch.
Nerdarchist Dave.
And before we jump into it, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, what are you waiting for? Jump down to the description below, click the link, name, email address, you know the deal. It's the best way and the only way to learn the game with us, get some cool tips, and you can stay nerdy with each email. So we got a viewer request for...
We did we've gotten this one a couple times.
Basically, he wants to build a mage slayer, mage killer type character.
Dalton, this one was on YouTube. Dalton Nolan.
So he wants to know how to make a mage slayer build. He's got the mage killer feat, and it's still having troubles. So we talked off camera for a second and said that we got a couple ideas, but it really depends upon whether you're looking, what's your reasons for being a mage killer? Is it because you're just trying to stop wizards, or is it because you believe magic is evil?
Or yeah.
It must be wiped from the world.
So both of our versions that we kind of talked about briefly were the anti-magic mage. Right. So one is the gnome.
Well, we're going to start off picking gnome because of the advantage on saves.
Yeah.
On the mentals, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Being able to not be charmed easily because you can all the saves. And
Dex-based gnome, probably forest gnome, and Eldritch Knight.
Yeah,
so
if you're cool with magic.
Dave thinks going Eldritch Knight so you can be able to counterspell. You get access to some magic that's going to be able to help you out, and
shield, energy absorption.
You got to know your enemy. Shield is definitely a big for the win. My take was going towards assassin, so you could take him out from afar. You wouldn't have magic because you're against it. So that's my take.
Now the one issue with the assassin is you can, from far away you could be sniping them with stuff, right. Or you can come up in close right away because otherwise the mage killer.
Mage killer is like the basis for all of them.
Isn't gonna mesh with a ranged guy,
right?
So you're gonna go in there with some dex-based attacks as a
now.
Assassin.
Let me point something out real quick too. The other thing too with the forest gnome Eldritch Knight, with some of those new cantrips in the Skag,
that's pretty hype.
It's pretty good for putting pressure on as far as forcing concentration checks. Matter of fact, you could actually attack the guy next to the mage and still get him. So it's not going to be a lot of damage, but it's enough to
call a check.
To force a check.
Yeah, and if they're launching fireballs and other things that you can shut down some of that damage with your absorb power.
Yeah.
And that's from the Elemental Evil Player's Guide?
No, Sword Coast Adventures Guide.
Sword Coast Adventures Guide.
And then the other option, which you brought up, was the Blade Singer.
The Elven Blade Singer. One, you're already very martial, and you want to fight anyway. So you're using blade singing, and then if you focus on your spells like Dispel Magic and Counterspell, Shield, Energy Absorption.
Yeah.
You have the Mage Killer feat, and also for both of those, I would go Warcaster. So this way you can also get off. Use your magic for attacks of opportunity. You could also do things like, if you really want to go extensive with the build, you can go into like Polearm Master and Sentinel and stuff like that, where you're really shutting down the mage's ability to move around.
Mm-hmm. And you'd say that's from the Eldritch Knight perspective. Right.
Yeah.
Either.
Well, because the Blade Singer is not going to really mesh well with a polearm, right?
No, they have all different kinds.
Oh, okay. It's not
longsword anymore.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's not just longsword.
But you got to be an elf.
Yeah, you do have to be an elf, unless your DM, allows it. But
gotcha. So you couldn't use non-blade weapons in a sense for the Blade Song.
Right.
Okay. I thought you had to use a longsword.
But yeah, I will say, in this edition, it is a little bit harder to make that mage killer character, where, in 3rd edition, there was, feats out the yin-yang that you could just keep stacking on to that.
Well, I don't know. You run up into his face, or you just shut down all of his spells. You hit him with a dispel, run up into his face, and just have at him and keep shutting down his spells, he's out of the combat and he's taking your beating basically.
If you're doing Eldritch Knight, then you're gonna have the action surge. You're gonna have more attacks than more physical attacks than any other character that's on the field.
And you get your reactions when they cast spells, right? That's something that comes with the Mage Killer. Is when they cast a spell and you're within 5 feet, you can react and hit them.
Yeah, you have abilities from being the Mage Killer, but your counter spell is also based off of your reaction.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So that's like going to be a big deal. Like you're always going to be able to use all your actions.
Well, if it's a sissy spell, you can use your reaction to hit them, and if it's a nasty spell, you can shut it down with your reaction for a counter spell. So
it's good. It's good stuff. And 5th edition, you've got all of these different actions, and if you're in that boat that you get to use them all the time or every round, it's going to be
yeah. So
make you shine.
Where the Blade Singer outshines Eldritch Knight is in the fact that they just have more spells. Mm-hmm. So they can go toe to toe with the mage, where they can be shutting them down with the reaction every round.
And you can focus on your dex and intelligence rather than having maybe more things that you need to have.
The Eldritch Knight Gnome honestly is the same thing. They're gonna be dex based.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if you go that route, you're definitely not doing a pole arm, or something like that. You're gonna go with a lighter finesse weapon, or a finesse weapon.
Well, I mean, they're gnomes, so a littler weapon makes sense too, instead of a big old honking thing.
But I don't know. What about you guys? Have you guys found the best build for the Mage Killer character for 5e? I find this one a little bit more challenging. We're just kicking around some ideas and throwing them out there. What are your ideas? Let us know in the comments below while you're at it. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out on nerdarchy.com.
You also enjoyed the conversation over on our forum.
So until next time, stay nerdy.